What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Game Night YouTube channel. In today's video, guys, I have an incredibly special video for you. Guys, for the first time ever, I am debuting my very own brand new Mint Tin game called Home. That is right, guys. I have been working on a Mint Tin game in the shadows over here in the Game Night dungeon. Several of you guys that are part of the Game Night Discord have been keeping up with my progress on Home and even helping me playtest the game. So shout out to all of you guys, especially Clarium and Schizoid. You guys have been instrumental in helping me come up with ideas for the game and fine-tune the game and tweak things. So huge shout out to you guys and everybody else that's been invested in the game and interested in the game, playtesting the game. I really appreciate all of you guys, but especially you two, because we spent some late nights on Discord calls with one another going over stuff. So here it is, guys. I've got the physical copy of Home in my hand. This is actually the only copy of the game that exists right now. It is the first and only copy of the game that exists. And I'll give you a little synopsis of the game that's written on the back of the tin. It says, "The house stands silent, but you are not alone. As a paranormal investigator, you've come to uncover the truth, identify the ghost, withstand the terror, and cleanse the house of its haunting. Keep your wits sharp, your flashlight steady, and pray you make it out alive." It is a one-player game for ages 12 and up. It's 30 to 60 minutes, and it says it's designed and created by Dustin Cox. Yours truly, the Game Night himself. Here it is, guys. This is a very surreal experience. It was a very similar feeling when I got Crypt Crawler in my hands for the first time. This is amazing. It feels strange to hold this in my hand after having thought about it and created it in my mind and then, playtesting it on the computer and tabletop simulator. It's just such a rewarding feeling to hold the physical copy of something that you've created in your hand. And here it is, guys. Also, check this out. I've got this amazing playmat for the game right here. It came out really, really well. I love it. It's got some trackers for your different stats and stuff over this way, which we'll get into. I'm going to teach you guys how to play the game, and I'm going to do a playthrough of the game in this video. It's got all the little slots for all your different stuff, and we'll go over that. It came out really, really great. I love the way the mat looks. Absolutely awesome stuff. The Game Crafter always knocks it out of the park with the quality of their components and materials. Really, really good stuff. Couple things to note right off the bat. I love to sleeve my Mint Tin games, and I've already sleeved up Home, and it's in the tin. That being said, some of the cards are not going to fit in the tin if you sleeve them. So those cards, namely, are these 5 cards, or 6 cards rather, right here, which are tracker cards, and all of these are found on the mat. So these 4 cards right here are found on the playmat. This card right here is also found on the playmat. Also, I've noticed, it's always good that you order a first copy of a game before you actually put up the crowd sale and sell it in case anything is wrong. And you might notice there are die icons or dice icons here on this tracker card, and they're missing from the playmat. So I'm going to have to go back and amend that and add those to the playmat. So that way, when you guys are ready to purchase the game, all of that is correct. And then the last one is this van tracker card here, which is also printed on the mat. So if you have the playmat, you won't need these 6 cards right here. And that's fortunate because they won't fit if they're sleeved in the tin. Everything else will fit. The only other thing too that I'm not keeping in the tin to save some space is the little rule folio here. So the game is going to come with this sort of like quick start condensed guide of rules right here. And it's got all the different little icons and stuff on it too. So, the flow of the game, how to set up the game, the gameplay rules. It's got everything here pretty much, but it's very condensed. I'm also going to provide a more long form detailed PDF that you'll be able to download from the store page for Home on the Game Crafter's website. So you'll get both. You'll have this little quick start guide here that comes in the tin that has pretty much everything you need to know, but then it'll go into more detail in the longer form version of the rules that I'll provide as a PDF. So I'm also not including that. So those are the only things. I'm not keeping the tracker cards in the tin, and I'm not keeping the rules in the tin. And to be fair, I have to do that for every Mint Tin game I own. For all my other Mint Tin games, I take out all of the tracker cards and the rule cards. Otherwise, they won't fit in the tin sleeved. So there's nothing out of the ordinary here. It's kind of par for the course. That being said, let's bust this thing open, dudes. And I'm going to show you guys the contents of home of the tin. I'm going to teach you how to play the game, and we're going to do a playthrough of the game. So let's go ahead and pop open the lid. And as you can see, I've got everything inside. I've got it all sleeved up already. So we've got these little micro cards here. There's something I need to mention about the micro cards too. So I noticed when I was counting them, I was like, oh, there's 14 of them, but there's supposed to be 16. There are supposed to be 3 of this card, the empty box card. And I accidentally only included 1. So I'll amend that also. So those were the only 2 errors that I've seen so far with this first copy of the game. I need to add 2 more of the empty box cards, and I need to add the dice icons or die icons to this little tracker here on the mat. Other than that, everything I'm pretty sure is good to go. So we've got these cards right here. You'll have 16 of them. Again, I've got 14 right now because I goofed. I should have 2 more of these. These are item cards. So you'll notice they have this little cardboard box symbol on them. And anytime you find one of those on a resolution card, you'll be able to get an item. And we'll get into that soon enough. But you're going to put your items over here on this slot right here. There we go. And then this will be the little discard pile for your items. Then next, we've got some mini cards. So those were our micro cards. And we have mini cards. Let's actually dump some of this stuff out too. Let's get some of this stuff out of the way. You're going to have to do a little bit of Tetris too, guys. So just fair warning. If you want to get everything to fit with it sleeved, go ahead, pause the video if you need to. Take a good look at it. I've got all the little cubes along the side here next to the cards. I've got the little mini dice down in the bottom right corner. I've got the meeples sort of laying on their side here, and then the 2 dice that you're going to roll up in the top right corner, and then the little notebook I just lay right on top in the bottom right corner, and then everything closes right up, and you're good to go. So that's how you do that. So I'm going to go ahead and set that there because I know sometimes I've had people ask, how do you get Crypt Crawler to fit in the tin? If it's sleeved, you can't, but otherwise you can. You just got to play a little bit of Mint Tin Tetris to get it all to fit. So there we go. It's a game in itself. It's 2 games in 1. It's 2 games in 1. All right, there we go. We'll take all of these out here. So these will go over this way. We'll take out all the little components here. You got quite a few of them. And then last but not least, we've got our regular Mint Tin size cards in the bottom. And a cool little trick that I do, guys, is I take a piece of yarn and I lay it in the tin like so. And then I lay the cards down on top of the yarn. So that way I can pull them out when they're sleeved. Otherwise, the edges of the sleeve will catch the lip on the inside of the tin. And you've literally got to like peel them out one by one. And it's really annoying and frustrating. I don't recommend it. So yeah, just get you like a little piece of string or yarn and set it sideways. And then just set the cards down on top of it. And you can just pull them right out. That's a little game night tip. So there we go. There is the contents of the game right there. We're going to go over all of the cards. So these are the item cards down this way. Let's move these little components out of the way too. I guess we can set up the tracker. So you're going to have your flashlight tracker. This is going to be your focus tracker. This is your sanity. And this is the hunt timer. And of course, we'll get into all that. So you're going to start at 8 on each of these. And it's marked red, so you know that that's where you start. And you'll put a little red cube on each of those trackers. And again, the game does come with those tracker cards in case you don't want to get the mat. So you'll have all of those little tracker cards right here. They're actually double-sided with the same thing on each side. And honestly, they look great. They're really, really vibrant. I love how vibrant the tracker cards came out. So yeah, you'll have those if you don't want to get the mat. But I highly recommend the mat. Highly recommend the mat because there's a lot of little spots for cards here, and it just makes it so much easier to see it all laid out, you know, with it on the mat. But, you know, of course, you don't really need the mat. You can play without it. It just helps. Okay, so let's look at the mini cards. Let's move some of this stuff out the way for now, too. Let's look at the mini cards here. So you're going to get 20 room cards. So let's go ahead and get all of those. So the room cards are going to have basically this. It's going to have like a darkened room with the lights off on the back of the card, on the back of each card. And one of them will have a door symbol at the top. That is the front door card. And it's always going to start right here. This card will always start in this bottom middle row, or in the middle of this bottom row right here, right above your van. This is where you're going to enter the house every time you start the game. The other cards are going to get shuffled up. And you can see on the flip side of the cards, they have rooms. And they're all colored red. The whole theme of the game, if you can't tell, is red, white, and black. So a very simple color scheme. And this will symbolize that you've entered the room and turned the lights on in the room. And they will have different doorways that you can enter. So yeah, and we'll get into how all of that works soon enough. I'm also noticing too, with this first copy of the game, it's a little dark. So I think I'm going to go back and lighten up some of these so that it's a little bit easier to see. Cause like there's supposed to be a door right here and it is very, very hard to see. So again, it's always good to order a first copy of the game so you can make any changes necessary before releasing it out to the public for you guys to purchase. So that's a change that I'm going to make. I'll lighten these up a little bit so they're a little bit easier to see. But other than that, they came out really great. I really like the way they came out. And we'll get into all the little icons and stuff as we play. I'm going to kind of teach you guys as we go. So we've got all of our room cards right here. Next, we've got our deck of, there's 12 of these. These are resolution cards. And I was straight up inspired. I'll just be honest with you guys. I was very, very inspired by the resolution cards from Dust Runner, from Jason Glover's game Dust Runner. And I was like, oh man, I love how you can put a bunch of little symbols on a card and you can get like, you know, these multi-purpose, multi-use cards. So that this layout is directly inspired from that game. Of course, the game plays completely differently. It doesn't feel anything like Dust Runner, that's for sure. But just that sort of mechanic and concept was directly inspired by that. So huge shout out to Jason Glover, of course, for inspiring me once again to use a somewhat similar card layout for this game. And it works out really, really well. So you've got all of your resolution cards here. They have a bunch of different little icons on them that we'll go over as we go through the game. And we're going to use these to trigger certain events as we move through the house. So we're going to set those on this slot over here. And then we'll check out the rest of the components real quick. We got a D8 that we're going to use to roll for certain things. And we've got a D6 right here that we're also going to use to roll for certain things. We have a couple more little tracker cubes right here. These little tracker cubes are actually going to be used up here. And since I don't have the dice printed on the mat for now, I'm going to go ahead and use this tracker card. We're going to put these over here. Now, this tracker card up this way is keeping track of your mementos. Now, there's going to be different phases of the game, and I'll explain this in just a moment, but this is for your mementos that you're going to collect as you move through the house. You can hold up to 3 of them at a time, and when you get one, you'll take one of these tracking cubes and set it next to the particular memento that you've picked up. So we'll leave those up that way. Next, we've got these 3 little red 6-sided dice, and these are also going to be used for the mementos. Again, you can only have 3 at a time. So sometimes you might already have 3 and you want to pick up a 4th one. And so you'll have to drop one of the ones that you already have. Let's say that you had the diary, but you wanted to drop it. It's got the 1 next to it. So you would take one of these little 6-sided dice, you turn it to a 1, and you would set it in whichever room you're currently in where you drop the diary. And you could always go back to pick it up again if you need that memento. So that's what those little 6-sided dice are for. Then we've got a little white 6-sided dice. This is going to be used for the notebook evidence card, which will make more sense once we get into that. Also, there's this really cool little notebook right here that's going to come with the game that you'll set in the room where you leave the notebook to gather evidence. And you'll see how that works soon enough. Really, really like this little notebook. Really, really cool. And then we've got a couple of other cubes here. The white cube is going to be used to track where the ghost is going to spawn in the house. This black cube is going to be used for the video camera evidence card. Again, will make more sense once we get into that. We're going to set that over that way. And, oh yeah, and this is the last sort of little mistake that I made. I ordered one too few of these little red tracker cubes. I needed to order 1 more. I needed 8 of them. So in place of it for now, I'm using this white cube that I had. I've got a bunch of extra little components in Ziploc bags that I use to play test games and stuff with. So I just pulled a cube out of there. Unfortunately, I didn't have any more red. So this will be used down here on the evidence tracker next to your van. But when the game releases, this will also be a red cube like the rest of the red tracker cubes. And then last but not least, we've got the 2 little meeples right here, dudes. This little red one is going to resemble you. That's your little meeple. and the white one is the ghost. And I love this. It is literally a little ghost meeple that the game crafter sells. Could not be more perfect. It worked out really, really well that they have that for the game. I also got these. Let me grab these real quick. This is kind of like a tease, but also if you guys want to get these for yourself, you can. I was really wanting to use these two figures for the game. Unfortunately, they don't fit in the tin. Their bases are too wide and they're very big. They probably wouldn't fit in the tin anyway, even if it was tall enough, because they take up so much space, especially compared to these little meeples. But if you want to get some more thematic pieces for the game, you can get these on the Game Crafter. They're really, really cheap. This one is a guy with a flashlight, which is perfect because you're going into the haunted house with your flashlight. So it's just really cool that they had this piece. It's unfortunate that it doesn't fit, but you could get that if you want to. And then this is like a little ghost guy right here that would have been really cool to use. So again, if you want to use these for yourself, if you like them more thematically, you could always get these, but they're not going to fit in the tin. So just keep that in mind. I ended up getting them just to see if they could potentially fit in the tin. And yeah, unfortunately they don't. So I'll set those off to the side. They're still cool though. They're still cool. I do like them. I'm going to set them up on my desk. They'll be like little home mascots. Okay. So we got all of that situated here. We're going to set our little meeples down this way. And then last but not least, we've got the mint tin cards here. So one of them is going to be a ghost card. It's going to have 5 different ghosts listed on one side and then 5 different ones listed on the back for a total of 10 ghosts. So the goal of home is you're going into a haunted house and you're trying to identify what type of ghost is haunting the house by using your different ghost hunting equipment. So it's going to show you on this card which 3 pieces of equipment pertain to each of the 10 ghosts. It's also going to show you which 3 mementos are linked to that particular ghost, and the mementos are on your memento tracker card here. And then it's going to show you, last but not least, the particular room in the house that ghost is haunting. And that's the room that you need to cleanse by bringing your 3 particular mementos to that room and performing what's called the cleansing ritual. So it's sort of like 3 phases to the game. You're going to use your equipment to identify the ghost. Then you're going to search the house and find the 3 unique mementos unique to that ghost that are tied to that ghost. And then you're going to have to go to the particular room that the ghost haunts and perform the cleansing ritual to basically exorcise the ghost from the house and rid the ghost of the house so that it's no longer haunted. So that's kind of like the gameplay loop. So this ghost card right here is going to go in this slot up here with the ghost icon. And you're going to take the tin. And this is kind of cool because I've never seen a tin actually incorporated into a mint tin game other than to hold the stuff. Maybe other than, what was it? Dragon Spark. I think it's got stickers in the tin that you can use. But other than that, you'll take the tin and you'll set it on top of this card to obscure it. So that way you can't see that during play. It'll be a mystery. And it won't be until you get 3 pieces of evidence with your equipment that you'll find out what ghost is haunting the house. If you guys are familiar with the game Phasmophobia, it's a game on Steam on PC, and I believe it also released to consoles fairly recently. It is a ghost hunting game, and it was also a big influence on me creating home. And that's kind of part of the game is you're going into this haunted house and you're trying to identify the ghost. So I wanted to emulate that sort of. So you're going to cover up this card over this way. And fair warning, guys, this might be a little bit of a lengthy video. I know we're already 20 minutes into it, and it can take up to an hour to play the game. So I hope you guys are nice and cozy. Be sure to get a snack and and hunker down. Okay, so we're going to move on to the rest of these cards. So 5 of these mint tin cards right here are evidence or equipment cards that you're going to use to gather evidence with. You've got your spirit box, you've got a video camera, a notebook, a thermometer, and an EMF detector. And they'll have like a little description of what they do. Like the EMF detector measures electromagnetic field levels. And then it'll tell you what you need to do in order to gather evidence with it. For instance, with the EMF detector, if the ghost's last known location is within 1 room of you, the EMF detector will register a reading. Flip this card over to resolve the evidence check. And then on the back of each of these cards is an evidence check chart, which you'll roll a die. You'll compare some numbers, And certain things will happen. Either you'll fail and you won't get any evidence with the equipment, or you'll succeed and you'll get a certain number of evidence points, which will be tracked down here on your evidence tracker. And your goal is to get evidence with 3 of these pieces of equipment. And then you'll be able to move on to identifying the ghost and move on to the next phase of the game where you need to find the particular mementos that are tied to that ghost. If you ever fail to gather evidence with 3 pieces of equipment, you lose the game. That's one of the ways to lose the game. So keep that in mind. So your equipment is going to go right here on the equipment slot with the little wrench in the gear. That's going to go right there next to your van. The other 6 cards, mint tin size cards, are event cards. Now, these are double-sided. There are 12 events in total, and some of these resolution cards here will have an icon on it like this. That's got this icon right here. This is going to be where you keep all of your event cards. Anytime you resolve a resolution card with the event icon on it, you're going to take the event cards, you're going to shuffle them up. You're going to want to flip them over too so that you get them nice and mixed up. And then you're going to play one. You can do it however you want. If you want to pull one out at random, if you want to flip the deck over and play the one on the bottom, or if you just want to shuffle up, and whichever one you shuffle to, it's really up to you. As long as you mix them up and you play one at random, you're good to go. So you would read out the little synopsis of the card, and then the text in red is sort of like what effects take place in the game. So the white text is sort of like flavor text to add some theme to the game, and the red text will tell you what stats and whatnot you need to affect in the game. So you got 12 different spooky, creepy events that can take place in the house and make it really thematic and add to the feel and the vibe of the game. Also, while I'm thinking about it, before I forget, to add even more to the feel and the vibe of the game, I have created a 1 hour long soundtrack, I guess you could call it. It's just one long track for the game, and it's got a bunch of like white noise and ambient, weird, creepy sounds in it. It's nothing cheesy. It's not like you're going to hear like cats hissing or anything. It's really weird, droning, ambient, just unsettling, strange noise, like just strangeness, very ambient. And it sets the tone a lot. If possible, I am going to also include that on the store page for the game. Never seen that before with another game, so I'm assuming I'll be able to do that fairly easily. So definitely look out for that too. I'll at least have like a link to it so that you guys can download that soundscape if you want to. So yeah, you can, pop some headphones on and play the track while you're playing the game, and it's really going to immerse you into the game. I've been playing with it, and it is really cool. It's really, really cool, and it just adds another layer, having the sound. Yeah, really, really neat. Very thematic, and it pulls you into the theme of the game. So yeah, there we go. We got everything pretty much set up and ready to go, guys. So we can get into a playthrough, the first ever playthrough of Home with the physical copy of the game ever. I haven't even played it off camera. So this is going to be the first time. So here we go, dudes. What you're going to want to do, take your front door card, the room card that's got the door icon, and you're going to set it here in this middle of the bottom row, right in the center of the bottom row. You're going to take the rest of your 19 room cards and you're going to shuffle them up. You're going to get a different house layout every time you play the game, which is really cool. So it's like you're going to a different house each time. Oops, go ahead and shuffle these up. Also, the name, it's very, very simple, but I couldn't get away from the name, guys. Like the name Home, there's just something about, because when you think home, it's got this like warm, cozy feeling, but then it's like the house is haunted. And so it's got this weird, creepy, unsettling, like juxtaposition between like, it should be this comforting thing, but it's not, because there's this like spirit in the house. You know what I mean? So I really like the name. It's very simple. And I don't know, it just evokes this weird, creepy vibe for me. So that's why I went with that name for the game. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're just going to lay out the room cards on the grid here. So as you can see, it is a 4x5 grid. So we've got 5 columns and 4 rows. And you'll just lay all of these out face down. And this is going to create the house layout. So of course, because you're shuffling them up every time you play, the layout of the house is always going to be different, and no 2 plays are going to be the same. There we go. Oh, it's also worth mentioning too. there's an amazing game that I've played on the channel several times. It even made it into my my top 10 games. It's a game called Hope of the Stranded. I can't not mention that game. When I played that game, it reminded me of Home. So quick little story time. I started creating Home and coming up with the idea for Home back in 2019. That's how far back this game goes. Long before I was the Game Knight and long before I got into this whole world of solo player tabletop games, I was already thinking about and designing this game. And I actually have some old images of what the cards used to look like. If I can remember, I'm going to go ahead and maybe put up some of those on the screen so you guys could see that those came from back in 2019. And this was the idea for the game. So when I played Hope of the Stranded, I was like, oh man, like this is like the idea I had for Home basically. And it really inspired me to continue working on it. So yeah, I want to give a shout out to, I can't remember his name. I can't remember the name of the designer or, or the designer company that made Hope of the Stranded. But if you're watching, you know who you are. And you know how much I love your game. I apologize that your name is eluding me at the moment. It's a goldfish memory. But yeah, huge inspiration for this game. So you might see some similarities with, you know, the layout of the house and you're moving between rooms and stuff like that. And you're being chased by something. In Hope of the Stranded, you're being chased by an alien on a derelict spaceship. And in this game, you're going to be getting chased by a ghost in a haunted house. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, very much inspired by the game Phasmophobia. So I've got inspiration coming from all over the place, guys. So yeah, huge shout out to all of those inspirations for inspiring me and bringing this game to life. Okay, so enough about that. We've got the house set up, guys. The house is nice and set up and ready to go. We've got all of our trackers set up on 8. So our flashlight tracker, our focus tracker, sanity tracker, and hunt timer. And down this way, our evidence tracker next to our van is going to start on 0. And once again, this will be a red cube in the final version of the game. Okay, cool. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our little meeple here and set them on the van. You're always going to start in the van. So we're pulling up to the haunted house. We're in our van full of our ghost hunting equipment, and we need to pick some equipment to head into the house with. So you've got your 5 different pieces of equipment: your EMF detector, thermometer, notebook, video camera, and spirit box. You can take 2 equipment in with you at a time. You can only hold up to 2. And you've got slots for those right over here. So I think I'm going to go, and you can pick whichever one you want. You might get to a point where you feel like certain equipment are better to start with, or you might want to try out different combinations of equipment. Plus, since the house layout is always going to be different, you never know what you're going to find first. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go with the spirit box, and I'm going to go with the video camera. So we're going to pick those 2 equipment to start with, and I'm going to set my other equipment here and leave it in the van. Now, you'll get to points in the game where you might want to return to your van to swap out equipment. And not might, that's definitely going to happen several times. You're going to want to come back to the van to gather new equipment and swap out equipment that you have for ones that you haven't used yet. Okay, so let's head into the house, guys. I'm excited. I can't believe this happened. This is so cool. Before we do, let's get everything shuffled up too. Let's shuffle up the resolution deck. This is so cool, man. This is so rewarding to be able to play my game after developing it, designing it, and just being able to play it in person with the physical copy is amazing. We're going to shuffle up the items. Of course, I'm going to get a little bit of an advantage because, like I mentioned, 2 of those empty box cards that give you nothing are not in this item deck. But that'll be in the final version of the game. Okay, there we go. So all of that is shuffled up. That's pretty much it. You just got to shuffle up those 2 decks and you're pretty much good to go, guys. So we're going to head into the house. Man, this is so exciting. This is so cool. Okay, so the first thing you got to do, every time you move into a room, you're going to lower the flashlight tracker by 1. Now, this is sort of like similar to the lantern mechanic that I used in Cryptcrawler. So once your flashlight burns out, or not burns out, but once your flashlight batteries die and it goes out, you're going to start accumulating, or your insanity, basically. Your sanity is going to go down each time you move, and you'll see how that works. So what we're going to do is we're going to move our flashlight meter down by 1, and then we're going to move into the first room. So you can move from the van into the front door card. So we're going to flip the card over. And as I mentioned earlier too, the rooms turned out a little dark, so I'm going to lighten these up. There's supposed to be a wall here with a door, just like there's a door on these 3 walls. It is very, very hard to see. It is barely visible. So I'm going to lighten that up in the final version, but there is a door right here. So the reason that this card that has the little front door icon is always going to go here in the bottom middle is because it has a door on each wall. And if you can't tell, you're looking from a top-down view into the room from above. So you're able to see that there's a door on each of the 4 walls there. So this card's always going to start in this position. So that way, when you enter the house, you have an option to move in every direction. Cool. So we've moved in. Now what you're going to want to do is once you move your flashlight tracker down, you flip the card over. We've turned the light on in the room. So the room is lit up now permanently. And you move into the room. Then you're going to flip over a resolution card. So we're going to take the top card of the resolution deck, flip it over, and then we can decide if we want to resolve this card or if we want to push our luck past it by spending focus. Now, let's go over some of the icons on the card. So you're going to resolve the card from the top left, and then you're going to go to the right, and then you're going to go down, and you're going to resolve it like that. So from the left, top left, and down, and you'll just move to the right and down as you resolve the card. So the first thing is this icon up in the top left. This is the focus icon. And as you can see, it's the focus icon that's on your focus tracker over this way. So it's got the number 2 here. I can spend 2 focus by moving my focus down to 6. And I could push my luck and draw into another resolution card. And I can do this as many times as I want, as long as I have enough focus to do so. Okay, we're not going to necessarily do that just yet, but that's what that symbol is for. Then if you decide, okay, I don't want to push my luck by spending focus, I want to resolve the card, then you move over to the next icon. The icon in the top right will be one of 4 different symbols, actually 5 different symbols. It'll either be a battery icon, which will give you a flashlight back on your flashlight tracker. It will be an energy bar or like a candy bar icon, and that will give you your focus back. Or it'll be a little like pill bottle, which is meds, and that will give you your sanity back. It can also have a little cardboard box icon that's pictured on the back of the item deck, and that means that you found a box in the room, and it's going to have a random item in it, in which case you would draw the top card of the item deck, and you'll get a random item. It could do good things, it could do bad things, it could do nothing at all if you find the empty box. And then sometimes, I believe there's one card in the deck that's got a circle with an X in it, and that just means that you don't find any item. And then this symbol here, this will be one of 3 different symbols. So we mentioned this earlier. If it's got the triangle with the exclamation point, that means that it is an event. So as you can see, it's got the same icon here where the events are on the mat, and you would shuffle up the event cards. As I showed you earlier, you would pick one out at random and you would resolve the event. It can also have a little ghost icon. For the purposes of the tutorial, we're going to look through the deck. Here we go. It can also have a little ghost icon like this. If you see the ghost icon, that means that there's a chance for a random hunt to spawn, and I'll show you guys how that works when we run into it. And then last but not least, you can also run into the circle with the X icon, and that means that nothing happens. And while we're going through here too, you can see that's the meds icon with the little pill bottle. And then that is the energy bar icon. It looks like a little like chocolate bar energy bar right there. And then of course you could run into the no item icon with the circle and the X, or the cardboard box icon right there. So I'll give these a quick little mix. Cool. All right. And then moving on from that icon, you've got the hunt timer icon. So this icon is going to have a little number, it'll say minus and then a number. That's going to tell you how many squares you need to move down on the hunt timer. Now, the hunt timer adds some tension to the game because once the hunt timer reaches 0, the ghost is going to spawn and start hunting you. And I'll get into how all that works soon enough. So that's what the little hunt timer icon is for. So you're going to want to take that into consideration too if you're deciding whether or not you should resolve one of these resolution cards. If you got like a really high number for the hunt timer, you might not want to do it. There's a lot of factors that play into deciding if you want to resolve these cards or not. And then moving down from there, you got a die icon, and this is going to be used for a couple different things. This will be used for when you're making checks with your equipment. You're actually going to add this number to your roll, and then when you flip the card over, you'll see what the sum of this number plus your roll is, and that will determine if you fail or succeed with your equipment. Also, when you're being hunted by the ghost, if you're in a room and you are hiding, and the ghost enters that room, you're going to have to roll equal to or higher than this number in order to stay hidden from the ghost. And if you fail, the ghost finds you and you lose the game. So that's another way to lose. If you fail to find evidence with 3 pieces of equipment, you lose. Also, if the ghost finds you and catches you, you lose the game. Also, if your sanity ever drops all the way to 0, you go insane and lose the game that way too. And then last but not least, the final symbol on the card is only used during the hunt, only when the ghost is hunting you. And this is going to show which direction and how many room spaces the ghost is going to move. So in this case, the ghost would move 2 to the right. So for instance, if the ghost was here in this room, it would move 2 spaces to the right over to this room. And it'll either have an arrow that's pointing in one of the north, south, east, west directions, or it'll have an icon like this that has like a crosshair or target icon. And this means that the ghost is going to move directly toward the player, and it will always prioritize moving into your column first. So say in this scenario, if the ghost drew this card, it would move directly toward us, but it's going to try to get into the same column as us first. And it's got 2, so it would go 1, 2 to get in our column. It would not go down and then over. It's always going to prioritize getting in the same column as you first. So that's how those work. Okay, so this was the card that we drew originally. I'll give it one more little mix here. Get those shuffled in. This was the card that we drew originally. So now we can decide, do we want to resolve this card? It would cost 2 focus to redraw if we don't want to resolve the card, or we could go ahead and resolve it. I would get +1. I would find batteries. I'd get +1 battery, so that would mean that I would get to increase my flashlight tracker by 1. There's an event, and I would reduce the hunt timer by 1. This seems like a pretty good resolution card right now, so I'm going to go ahead and actually resolve this card. So remember, you resolve it from top left and then move right and go down. We're not going to redraw the card with focus. We're going to resolve it. So we're going to get +1 battery. So we'll pop some fresh batteries into our flashlight. We got full power now. And then there's going to be an event. So we're going to take the event deck. I'm going to shuffle it up. I'm going to avert my eyes, flip them around, and what do we got? Faint footsteps echo down the hall, growing closer. Your breath catches in your throat. Decrease your focus by 2 and your sanity by 1. Ooh, yikes. Okay, so we hear already, we just walked into the house and we hear footsteps in the house. We're like, hello? Is anybody home? But no one responds. So we're going to lose 2 focus, boink, and we're going to lose 1 sanity. So as you can see, the white text is like flavor text to build the theme and describe the event, and the red text is sort of like the actual mechanic that's going to take place in the game that's going to adjust your stats and whatnot. Okay, so we heard footsteps echoing down the hall. Creepy. Okay, next we're going to move on to the next icon on the resolution card, which is the -1 on the hunt timer. So we're going to reduce the hunt timer by 1. So we're 1 closer to a hunt. Now what we're going to do is, since we have revealed this first card, we're going to take the white cube and set it in this room. You're always going to set this white cube in this room once you've explored it. This is going to be where the ghost spawns when the hunt starts. It'll always start in this room. On subsequent hunts, wherever the ghost stops and when the hunt ends, you remove the ghost and then you'll set the cube in the room that the ghost was in, and that's where it'll spawn. But for the first hunt, it always spawns in the foyer in the front door card right here. Okay, so now we get to decide which direction we want to go in. There's a door on each of the walls. Also, you can always come back to this room and use this door to head back to the van. So now we can decide which direction we want to go. I think I want to go to the right. We're going to go to the right. So we're going to go through this door over here to the right. So we're going to have to spend 1 flashlight. Then we're going to reveal the room and turn the lights on in the room. And cool. Okay, so now This is where the next part of the game comes into play. When you flip a room over, you can orient the room however you want with some stipulations. So as you can see on this card, only one of the walls has a door on it. So there's only one exit from this room. Now, I couldn't place this so that it's facing, so that the door is facing into a wall of an already placed room. Now that's not applicable at the moment, so it might make more sense once we get there, and I'll show you guys, but that's basically the only rule with that. And you can move between rooms as long as one of the rooms has a doorway leading into the other one. So even though there's just a wall here, since there's a doorway on this wall from this room, we can move back and forth between these rooms. So I think I want to keep heading to the corner of the house. I'm actually going to orient the room this way with this door facing that way so that we can keep heading east toward that side of the house. Also, before I move my meeple in there, you'll notice that there's a couple of icons on the card. So in the top left, that will always show you the type of room. Now, 10 of these cards have a room type and 10 of them don't. They're just kind of like hallways. This particular room, it's got like a little computer desk with a computer. This is the office, and all of that stuff is going to be listed in the little rule book folio here. It'll show you all of the different little icons. Like you can see, there's the little icon right there of the desk, and it says office, and it says room icon. So all of that will be in the folio, and you'll learn them pretty quickly. You won't even have to refer to that eventually. So this is the office. And then in the top middle of the card will be one of two different things. It'll either show an icon that matches one of your 5 pieces of equipment, which means that you can use that particular piece of equipment in that room and only that room. Or it'll have one of the 6 different mementos as an icon. And in this case, it does. It's got the pocket watch memento, which is on your memento tracker up this way. So remember, your mementos, you're trying to collect those in order to cleanse the house of the ghost when you get to that part of the game. So it's always a good idea to pick them up early on. But in this case, I might not pick up the pocket watch. And the reason is it says that when you pick up the pocket watch, you get to increase the hunt timer by 3. Since the hunt timer has only been decreased by 1, I'm not going to do that yet. I could always come back and pick up the pocket watch later. So we're going to move into the room. Now, every time you move into a room, you have to draw a resolution card and resolve it. So we're going to draw a resolution card. We could spend 1 focus to redraw. We could get 2 focus back because there's an energy bar in the room. We could roll for a random hunt, and we would lose 1 on the hunt timer. I think I'm actually going to try this. This could be risky. And knowing how my luck is, this could be very, very risky. I might re-roll if something bad happens so that I can continue playing through the game and show you guys more of the game, but we'll see. So yeah, I'm not going to spend the focus. I like getting +2 focus with the energy bar, so I'm going to do that. We're going to resolve this card, guys. So I'm going to get +2 focus, chow down on the energy bar. There is a ghost icon, which means there could be a random hunt that triggers. Now, the way this works is you'll take the D8, and you need to roll equal to or lower than your sanity for the hunt not to happen. Or put another simpler way, if you roll higher than your sanity, a random hunt starts. So we want anything but an 8. You hear that, dice? Anything but an 8. Here we go. A 6. Okay. I was completely expecting that to be an 8, man, with my luck, I swear. Okay, so we rolled a 6. So we rolled equal to or lower than our sanity. So a hunt does not start. Had we rolled an 8 just then, had we rolled this and it was an 8 and it was higher than our sanity, we would take the ghost meeple, set it here where the little ghost spawn token is, and the ghost would have spawned and a hunt would have started. Fortunately, that didn't happen. It is worth noting, if it did happen, you would leave the hunt timer where it is on the hunt timer tracker. Okay, we're going to set the ghost down this way. Okay, fortunately, that didn't happen because we rolled a 6. So we are safe there. And then we lose 1 time on the hunt timer. Boop, there we go. Okay. All right, we're exploring, guys. We're going to keep going. Let's move this way. We're going to go through this door into the right corner of the house. So I'm going to spend a flashlight. We're going to flip this card. And, okay, cool. So we found the study. The room that has the little books up in the top left, that is the study. There's only 1 door on this card. It's very dark down here, but again, I'm going to lighten that up. And then this little icon in the top middle of the card is actually a different icon. So I mentioned a bit ago, it'll be one of two things. It'll either be an equipment icon or a memento. It can actually be one other thing too, which is the secret passage. So two of these rooms, this being one of them, has this little like dashed dotted line door icon. And there is a hidden room in the study. Maybe you can pull a book on the shelf and it opens up a hidden door. Now, the cool thing about the rooms that have the hidden passage is you can travel between them as if they were adjacent to one another. So even if we found the other hidden passage card all the way over here in this corner of the house, we could actually move between those rooms as if they were adjacent to one another through the hidden passage, which is really, really useful, especially sometimes when you're running from the ghost. You can get further away by going through the secret passage. Okay, so I'm going to actually leave this room oriented this way so that this door faces up so that we can start heading up the east wing of the house over here. Okay, we move into the room. We need to draw a resolution card. Ooh, okay, we could find an item in this room. Ooh, there could also be a random hunt. I think I'm gonna resolve this. So we're not gonna spend 2 focus. We're gonna get a random item. So let's go ahead and pull an item from the item deck. These little micro cards are so freaking cute. So we got the alarm clock. It says, reduce the hunt timer by 1, discard this card. Rip. Okay, so we open the box, we pick up the alarm clock, it starts going off and making a bunch of noise, and that's gonna probably draw some attention to us from the ghost here, give away our location. So the hunt timer is gonna move down by 1. So that was a bad one. That was a bad one. We don't want that to happen. It's cool though, because you can find good things, so it's always a risk when you decide to get an item, if it's going to be something good or bad, or neutral if you find an empty box. Okay. Hopefully we'll have better luck with the next one. Okay, then there's a ghost icon. There could be a random hunt. So once again, we have to roll the D8. If we roll higher than our sanity, a random hunt starts. And we rolled a 5. Whew, we're safe, dude. This game has so much tension in it, I swear. Okay, cool. And then last but not least, we're going to reduce the hunt timer by 2. Boink, boink. And of course, we don't need to resolve the die icon. That's only used for the 2 situations I talked about earlier, when you're adding that to your roll to find evidence with your equipment, or when you need to roll equal to or higher that during a hunt. Otherwise, you ignore it. Same thing with the ghost movement icon. So if it's not during a hunt, you're going to ignore those 2 icons, basically. Or if you're not searching for evidence, you're going to ignore that icon. So we just resolve the top 4. Okay, so we're done with that one. We can move on. So we can move through this doorway. I'm going to spend another flashlight. We're going to flip this card. And okay, cool. We found the room with the incense. So there is a door on this wall, very dark, very hard to see. And there's also a door here. So there's like a little hallway right here. And it's got the incense memento in there. So I think I'm going to orient it this way because I want to keep heading up. It's also worth mentioning too that if I wanted to, I could orient the card this way. And I could give myself an alternate entrance / exit from the house. And I could actually leave this door to go back to the van. Now, if you use any alternate entranceway into the house, other than going from the foyer back to the van, you have to spend a flashlight since you're walking in the dark outside back to your van. And same thing if you go from the van to an alternate entrance, you have to spend a flashlight as you walk through the dark to go back into the house. But in this instance, I'm just going to put the card like so, and we're going to go through this hallway and continue up the right east wing of the house here. So we're going to move into the room. We need to flip a resolution card. It's also worth mentioning too, anytime you see a memento or an equipment icon in a room, you always resolve that last after you're done resolving the resolution card. So we can't pick up the incense just yet. So we'll have to flip this card and resolve it. And I'm definitely going to do this one. So we could pay 1 focus to redraw, but I'm not going to. We're going to get a candy bar that would give, or an energy bar that would give us +1 focus, but we're already at max. There's no event, no random hunt. That's what the X in the circle means. And then we only lose 1 time on the hunt timer over this way, which is getting really low, by the way. We need to find a place to hide, which we have not found yet, and I'll explain that to you once we get there. Now we can pick up the incense. So what you're going to do is you're going to refer to your memento tracker over here, and it says incense used to cleanse a haunted room. So the incense is the one memento that all 10 ghosts have in common. You will always need the incense in order to smudge the ghost haunting room at the end of the game for the cleansing ritual. You'll always need the incense, no matter which of the 10 ghosts it is. So we're definitely going to want to pick this up. So we're going to pick up the incense. So we'll take one of our tracker cubes and we're going to set it right here next to the incense to show that we have the incense. Cool. If at any point we wanted to drop the incense, which we won't, because as I just explained, you always need it. But if we did, you would take one of the little 6-sided dice here. And since it's got the 6 next to it, you would set it like so in the room that you're in to show that you're dropping it in that room. That way, if you ever come back to that room, you can refer to the tracker to see what item is represented by the die number here. And you could pick it back up if you needed to. And that does happen sometimes. Okay, so we're going to put the tracker cube right there. Okay, cool. We got the incense. Awesome. We're definitely going to need that. So that's good. That's good that we found that. And again, the house layout is always different. So this is going to be different every time. Your experience playing through the game is be different every time. Some games you might find the incense right away, like this one. Other times you might have to really go exploring through the house to get your hands on that incense for the cleansing ritual. Okay, cool. So we're done with that. And as mentioned too, we were able to pick up that memento after we were done resolving the resolution card. Okay, so now we're going to keep heading up. We're going to go through this door on the north wall here. We're going to spend a flashlight. Ooh, we're going to flip a card. And would you look at that? We found the other room that has the hidden passage. Now, there is a door down here. You could just barely see it. And I'm not going to keep harping on this. I promise, guys, I'm going to lighten up the cards because that is way too dark. It's way too hard to see. But again, that's why you get a sort of, preliminary prototype copy of the game to be able to make those changes before the final game releases. I'll quit beating that dead horse. So I'm going to flip the card this way since there is a door right here. Yeah, I mean, you could just barely see it if you look really close. I'm going to flip it this way because I want to be able to keep heading up. So we're going to move into this room. And since it's got the hidden passageway, we can actually move from this room to this room by going through the hidden passage. Kind of stinks that they're so close together. It could be worse though. Sometimes you'll get them right next to one another and it's like you don't even really get a secret passage. So it's better than nothing. So I'm going to place it like that. We're going to flip a resolution card. And here we go. We could pay 2 to redraw. Ooh, we could get +1 meds. Okay, we're definitely going to do this. So we're not going to redraw. We're going to pop these pills and we're going to get the +1 sanity. So boom, our sanity is back at 8. There's also a ghost symbol, which means it could trigger a random hunt. But since you have to roll the D8 and roll higher than your current sanity to trigger a random hunt, we don't have to roll because, of course, you can't roll higher than 8 on a D8. So there's no random hunt. And there's a 0 for the hunt timer, which means the hunt timer does not decrease at all. So this was fantastic. We found some meds in there, got a little bit of our sanity back, and it didn't even decrease our hunt timer, and we don't have to worry about a hunt. That was an excellent resolution card right there. Okay, we're going to keep going. I'm going to spend my flashlight, which was getting a little low, getting a little dim. Okay, and we found the kitchen. It's got the fridge. This is the kitchen. Still no place to hide yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to orient this card this way. It's got a door on this wall, and it's got a door on this wall up this way. So what this is going to allow us to do is create an entrance into this top row of the house up here. And it gives us a back door exit and entrance that we can use to go in and out of the house instead of having to go all the way back through the house to get back to the van. So that was really, really good to get right there. Let's go ahead and flip a resolution card. And let's see what we got here. Ooh, this is going to spawn a hunt. Because the hunt timer is going to go down by 2. It's going to hit 0 and spawn the ghost. I don't like it. Okay, so I'm going to spend 2 focus to redraw. So we're going to spend 2 focus and we're going to push our luck here into a new resolution card. Oh my God, this one's going to give us -3. And remember, as long as you have the focus, you can keep pushing your luck. I'm going to push again. This is going to cost 3 focus to push our luck past this and draw a new one. What do we got here? Okay, I think I'm going to go with this one. So it would cost 2 focus to redraw. I'm not going to. We're going to resolve the card. We're going to get +1 to our flashlight because we found some batteries. Okay, so we got a little bit of flashlight power back. And there's an event symbol. So there's going to be an event. I love the events because they're so thematic and cool, but it is scary. What do we got? You pause, taking a deep breath in the silence. Your mind clears and you regain your composure. Increase your focus by 2. Heck yeah, dude. We need that because we just spent so much focus. Awesome. So good events can happen too, which is really cool. Okay. Lastly, we've got the hunt timer goes down by -1. Guys, this is it. It's crunch time here. We need to find a hiding spot immediately. Immediately. Okay, let's keep on going here. So we're going to spend a flashlight. Please, please. Yes, oh my God. Okay, we found the living room. So the TV icon up in the top left, this is the living room. And you'll notice we've got a new kind of icon up in the top right, and it's red. It's a little red couch. Anytime you enter a room that's got a red icon in the top right, that means that you can hide under or behind or inside of that particular item there. So the couch, we can either hide under the couch or hide behind the couch. Either way, it means that we can hide. The other icons that you'll see that you can hide is a bed or lockers that you can hide in, which you can find in the laundry room. And then the beds, obviously, you find in the 2 bedrooms that are in the house. So there's 4 different room cards that have an icon that let you hide. And this is one of them in the living room. In the living room, we can hide behind the couch. So it's only got the 1 door on this wall. So I think I'm going to put it this way so we can continue going that way. Or do I want to go down? Nope, I think I want to go, ooh. See, this is tricky. This is part of the game too, is trying to decide which way you want to go. Sometimes you'll get locked out of certain areas too, depending on how you place the room. So that's something you need to be mindful of. I think I'm gonna keep it this way. We're gonna keep heading that way. So we're gonna move over here, and then we're gonna draw a resolution card. And let's see what we got. Okay. Ooh. I think we're just gonna do it, guys. So we find some meds to get +1 sanity, but we're already maxed out. There could be a random hunt, but we have full sanity. So of course, once again, you can't roll higher than an 8 on the D8, so we don't have to roll for a random hunt, but we get -2 on the hunt timer, guys. Hunt timer reaches 0. You know what time it is. The ghost spawns in the house. The front door closes and locks, and so does the side entrance. All the entrances to the house close and lock, and we're trapped in the house with the ghost. It's time for a hunt. Okay, cool. I get to explain to you guys how the hunt works. This is exciting. The first hunt ever in home with the physical copy. This is so cool, man. I'm so excited. All right. So this is what's going to happen here, guys. During a ghost hunt, the player always gets to move first. So I can either choose to move into an adjacent room, or I can stay in the room that I'm in. Now, in this case, I'm going to stay in the room I'm in, and I'm going to hide behind the freaking couch, okay? Because I don't want the ghost to find me. If the ghost ever enters a room that you are in and you're not hiding, he catches you and you lose the game. If he enters the room that you're in and you're hiding behind one of the red objects in the room, you're going to flip over one of these resolution cards, and you have to roll equal to or higher than the die value shown in the bottom left in order to stay hidden. If you fail to do so, the ghost catches you and you lose the game. It's also worth mentioning, you can spend your focus to redraw those resolution cards to try to get a lower number to roll equal to or higher than. So it's useful to save, try to conserve your focus if you can. Okay, cool. So also it's worth mentioning, if I wanted to, I could spend flashlight to move over into an adjacent unexplored room by flipping it over. The only difference would be you do not flip a resolution card when you move into rooms during a hunt. This has pros and cons to it. The cons are you're not going to get to pick up any of the items that you would have normally. The pros, I suppose, is that the hunt timer is not going to decrease, but it doesn't really matter in that situation because you're being actively hunted by the ghost. So it's mainly just a con. So in some situations, you're going to want to run through the house and try to move into rooms you haven't explored to either look for a hiding spot or to continue running from the ghost. And other times, you might want to move back through rooms you've already been in, or you might want to hunker down in the room that you're in. Okay, so the ghost is, I'm going to hide behind the couch. So now the ghost is going to move. So now we're going to flip the top card of the resolution deck, and we look at the ghost movement icon in the bottom right. The ghost is going to move 2 toward us because it's got the little crosshair target icon. And remember, the ghost will always prioritize entering the same column as you. So he's going to go 1 to get into our column, and then 2 to move up toward us. So here he freaking comes, dude. Okay, so now I can decide, do I want to keep running that way, or do I want to stay put in the room I'm in? I'm going to stay put. I'm going to stay put in the room I'm in. Oh, also, each time the ghost moves, you increase the hunt timer by the number of spaces that the ghost moves. So you move this up 2 since he moved 2. Now I decide I'm going to stay hiding behind the couch in the room. The ghost is going to move again. Okay, he's going to move 1 to... There's so much tension, by the way, guys. I love the hunt part of the game. There's so much tension. The ghost is going to move 1 to the right. Okay, so he's going to move 1. So we're going to move that on the tracker and then move the ghost 1 to the right. It's also worth mentioning, too, the ghost can move through walls. He can move into all of the rooms and straight through the walls. He does not have to move through doorways. He can move freely through the house. I'm going to remain hidden behind the couch. Let's flip another card. Ooh, he's going to move up 2. Guys, it's getting creepy now. So he's going to move 2. So we're going to go up by 2 on the hunt tracker. And then he's going to go 1, 2. Oh my God. I'm going to stay hidden behind the couch. All right. We've exhausted the resolution deck, which is going to happen pretty frequently. So you just shuffle it back up. There we go. Okay. We're going to stay hidden behind the couch. Okay. Here we go, guys. Please move down. Please move down. Of course. He beelines it straight to us. He moves 1 to the left. It's like it knows where we are. So we move up 1 on the hunt timer. He moves 1 to the left. Okay. The ghost has entered our room. This is bad. So now what happens is we need to flip a resolution card and we're hiding. If we weren't hiding, if there wasn't a red icon for us to hide, we would have lost the game just now. So we're going to flip a resolution card since he moved into the room we're in, and we're going to need to roll equal to or higher than this number, and we lucked out. We drew a 2. So if we roll 2 or better, we're safe and he does not find us. Again, you can always spend focus that's printed up in the top left. You could spend your focus to redraw these when he moves into the room to try to get a more favorable number. But in this case, since 2 is the lowest number, there is no 1. None of them have a 1 icon. This is our best bet. So we need to roll, famous last words from the old game night, we need to roll anything but a 1. And I'm already going to tell you right now, if I do roll a 1, I'm re-rolling because I want to show you guys the rest of the game. We haven't even gotten to see how any of the equipment works, but let's see. A 3. Okay, good, good. So the ghost doesn't find us. We're quiet and we're staying hidden behind the couch. He doesn't see us. So now it's our move. Obviously, we're going to stay hidden. Now the ghost is going to go. Bam. Okay. Kind of sad that this happened, but also glad that this happened. If the ghost ever draws the crosshair target icon while he's in the room with you, he doesn't move. It stays in the room with you because remember, that icon means that the ghost will always move directly toward where you are. So he's going to stay in the room with us. He would have moved 2. So you're still going to increase the hunt timer by 2, which means the hunt is about to end, but we have to finish resolving this turn first. So since the ghost is staying in the room, that means he's still actively searching for us since he's in the room with us and we're hiding. So once again, we got to flip a card. We got a 4 this time. I don't like those odds. That's a 50-50. I'm going to spend the 2 focus, go down to 3 focus, and we're going to redraw. And we drew a 3. That's a little bit more like it. I think I'm going to go with the 3. So I need to roll 3 or better. 66% chance. And we rolled a 1. Okay. So as mentioned a moment ago, technically, guys, we lost the game. The ghost found me just now, and that would be it. That would be all she wrote. You lost the game. The ghost finds you. It does terrible things to you, and you don't make it out of the house alive. But for the sake of the video and for this tutorial of the game, we're just going to go and pretend like I rolled a 4 just then. Would you look at that? The ghost doesn't find us. Okay. In this scenario, if the ghost doesn't find you, since the hunt timer reached 8, the hunt ends. So you're going to take the ghost spawn cube. You're going to set it in the room that the ghost is in, and then you're going to remove the ghost meeple off to the side. And the next time a ghost hunt starts, the ghost will spawn in this room with the little white ghost spawn cube. So sucks that we technically lost, but again, I want to show you guys how the rest of the game works. So we're going to keep going. Okay. So let's just pretend that we lived right there. So, okay, good. Hunt's over. We can crawl out from under the couch. We can continue on with our investigation. There's a doorway here. So we're going to go over this way. So we're going to spend 1 on the flashlight. We're going to go over this way. Okay, cool. So we found a room that has evidence in it. It's got 1 doorway here. So we can orient this. I'm going to orient it sideways so that we can go that way. But first, the icon on the top left, it's got a little bed with a 1. This is bedroom 1. There's also another one like this that's got a 2. That's bedroom number 2. There's 2 bedrooms in the house. And of course, they're one of the 10 unique rooms in the house. This icon in the top middle of the card is the diary memento. So we can actually pick up the diary. And then it's got a red bed, which much like the red couch means that it's a hiding place icon. So we can hide in that underneath the bed in this bedroom if we want to during a hunt. Okay, so I'm going to put this way. And then we move our meeple into the room. And then before we can interact with the diary in the room, we have to resolve a resolution card. So let's go ahead and flip. Okay, I think I'm going to do this one. So there's an item. Okay, so let's pop open the cardboard box, see what we get. Hopefully something good. Okay, cool. We got something good. We found a motion sensor in the box. It says, place this card in the room, and when the ghost moves into the room, you discard this card, return to the van to retrieve the motion sensor data, and you get +1 evidence. Cool. So since we got an item, you've got 3 little slots over here for items. See, this is why we had to keep going. This is why I had to cheat so I could show you guys the rest of the game. So you're going to put your item over here, and you can hold up to 3 items along with your 2 equipment. Cool. All right. Then there's an event. There's an event symbol, so we have to trigger an event in the room. So we'll shuffle these up. We'll flip them around because remember, they're double-sided, so you're going to want to flip these over too as you're shuffling. And what do we got? I just look away too, so I avert my eyes when I do this. But if you wanted to, you could shuffle these up and then like flip it. You could always do that too. But what was the one I had just a moment ago? We're going to stick with that one. It was the footsteps again. Faint footsteps echo down the hall, growing closer. Your breath catches in your throat. Decrease your focus by 2 and your sanity by 1. Damn, that sucks. We're down to 1 focus. Decrease our sanity by 1. Yikes. Okay. This ghost is like tap dancing up and down the halls and it's freaking me out, bro. All right. And then 0 on the hunt timer. So the hunt timer does not decrease. Always love getting those. Okay. Now we can pick up the diary since we're done resolving the resolution card. So the diary says that you can look at the top 2 cards of the resolution deck. So we're going to go ahead and pick it up. Also, when you pick up one of these mementos, you immediately activate the effect text written on the memento tracker card. It happens instantly, and it only happens once per game. So if I were to drop the diary and then come back and pick it up, I will not get the effect of the diary again. You only ever get the effects of each memento once, immediately when you pick it up. And of course, the incense is a little bit different because it's just one that you need to have for the cleansing ritual at the end of the game. It doesn't have an effect that happens immediately, but the other 5, they all have immediate effects that happen right when you pick up the memento. Okay, so we can look at the top 2 cards of the resolution deck here. So let's see what we got here. Okay, we're going to be able to get some focus back. I like that. If we did spend 1 to push our luck, what would we be pushing into? We would get nothing, and there would be a potential random hunt. Okay, so I know now not to push my luck past this card. I'll be better off. I'm going to have to deal with this one anyway. I'll be better off resolving that one. So the diary definitely came in handy there. Okay, cool. Gave us a little bit of info. Okay, cool. We got 2 mementos. We need to find a room that's got an equipment icon so I can show you guys how that works. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we're about to find one. We're going to spend a flashlight. We're going to move through this door and head west into, let's go, guys. We're going into the dining room. So it's got a little dining table up in the top left. That means it's the dining room. It's got 1 door on the east wall, and it's got the spirit box icon. So it matches our spirit box. That means that we can use the spirit box equipment in this particular room. You can't use it in any other room. In order to use your 5 equipment, you have to find those 5 rooms that have that particular equipment icon printed on it in order to use your equipment in that room. Otherwise, you'd be able to just walk into the foyer and just use all of your equipment, and that wouldn't be very fun. So you have to find the particular room that you can use it in. I'm going to orient this room this way so that we can continue heading west through this door. And we're going to draw a resolution card. Now, let's flip this over. Okay, now this is very important. Before I even look at the other icons up here, I'm seeing that there's a 2 down here. If I resolve this resolution card and I try to search for evidence with my spirit box, I'm going to add this number to whatever I roll with the D6 and then consult the back of that particular equipment card. And that's going to give me my outcome. Now, I don't want to add 2. I want to add a higher number than that. So I'm going to actually spend 1 focus, my only focus left. I'm going to draw a new resolution card and hope for something better. Unfortunately, I drew into a 2. Now, I'm out of focus. That means I have to resolve this resolution card. I get nothing. Oh yeah, I was just saying too, I should resolve this one because I knew it was coming up. But in the process of explaining that, it slipped my mind. But it's okay because I didn't even keep track of what this number was, so I would have pushed anyway, hoping that this was a higher number, so it's okay. But yeah, I get nothing, no item. There could be a random hunt. So if I roll higher than my sanity, there's a random hunt. I rolled a 1. Whew, okay, good. No random hunt. If we rolled an 8, the ghost would have spawned right here. And then -1 on the hunt timer. So this is going to go down. Also, like I mentioned earlier, if a random hunt ever does happen and the ghost spawns during the random hunt, you keep the hunt timer tracker where it is. And when the ghost moves, you'll still increase the timer by the number that the ghost moves, or the number that's printed on the ghost movement. And you'll increase it. So once it hits 8, the hunt will end. So it's more likely that when you get a random hunt, the hunt won't be as long because you won't have the hunt timer all the way down to 0. It's also worth mentioning too, if the ghost is ever, say, in a position like this, and he draws a movement that would move him in a direction that he can't go in, he just remains in the room. Like, he can't move to the right because he's all the way to the right side of the house. He won't move. He'll stay there, but you will still increase the hunt timer by the value printed on his little movement icon right there. Okay. Okay, so that was it. So we decreased the hunt timer by 1. And that was it. Now comes the rough part. Unfortunately, guys, this is going to be really crappy because all of our focus is gone. And I took the spirit box in first because I was hoping that we would run into the spirit box room well before we ran out of focus. But here we go. So we're in the room with the spirit box icon. That means that we can use this spirit box piece of equipment to try to gather evidence. It says, scans radio frequencies to communicate with spirits. And then it says, for each point of focus you are missing, subtract that amount from the evidence check for this equipment. Flip this card over to resolve the evidence check. So for each point of focus we're missing, which is 8, we're missing 8 focus, we're going to subtract 8 from the evidence check. We're also going to add 2 to whatever we roll. So we're going to subtract 2 from that 8. So we're getting -6, guys. So no matter what we roll, we're getting -6. We roll a 3, we roll 0, essentially. -3, we roll 0. So if you flip the card, yeah, if you roll, or I guess technically it'd be 1. You can't go lower than 1. If you roll 1 to 4, you fail. The spirit box crackles, but only delivers static. So we try to talk to the ghost through the spirit box, but we don't get any reply. Rip. There it is, guys. We don't get any reply. So the spirit box failed. So now what happens is you take this piece of equipment and you're going to set it in this slot here that's got the X. And it's got the little equipment sign too that matches the equipment sign down here and right here. So what that means is we've failed the equipment check with this piece of equipment with the spirit box. So it's going to go here in this slot. Had we been successful, it would go here in this slot. So now we know we failed with that piece of equipment. We can't try to gain equipment with the spirit box anymore. Okay. Rip. But we have freed up a slot, so we could go back to the van and pick up another piece of equipment if we wanted to. So now we're going to continue on. We're going to spend a flashlight. We'll move over this way. And we're going to move into the kids' bedroom. And once again, very hard to see, but there is a door on this southern part of the house. So I'm actually going to face it down. We're going to move in. We'll just go through a little bit more of the game because I know the video is getting pretty lengthy here and you guys pretty much know how to play the game at this point. Plus, we technically lost a little while ago, but we'll go just a little bit more. Maybe we'll be able to find the video camera room. That would be really cool so I can show you guys that. Or at least trigger one more hunt and we might even get caught. We'll see. So we're going to go into the kids' bedroom. It's got the bunk beds. That's the children's room or the kids' room. So let's go ahead and flip over a resolution card. And we are completely out of focus, so we can't push our luck. So we're going to have to resolve whatever the game gives us at this point. So we're going to get +1 batteries. That's amazing. And there's going to be an event. Let's go ahead and shuffle these up. And we're going to get a random event. What do we get? A silent presence drifts through the house, unseen but felt. Move the white ghost cube according to the ghost movement icon on the current resolution card. Okay, so we're going to move the white ghost cube here according to the ghost movement icon on the current resolution card. So it's saying move 2 to the right. So we're going to move this 2 to the right. So essentially, this particular event here can move the ghost spawn location, which is pretty cool. Sometimes it's not cool when it moves it like into the room that you're in and then the ghost spawns on you. But it's a cool little mechanic. And then we get -1 on the hunt timer, so this goes down to 6. Okay, awesome. Okay, let's see here, guys. What is that underneath me? Oh, that's Ziggy. Hey, Ziggy. I bumped something with my foot. I was like, what is that? It's Ziggy down there. Okay, okay, so now that we're done with this card, I can pick up the voodoo doll. Nope, you got to stay down there, bub. He's wanting to get up here and play home with me. Okay, so I'm going to pick up the voodoo doll. Now, the voodoo doll, when you pick it up, it says decrease your sanity by 1. So we're going to lose 1 sanity, but I want to pick it up just in case we happen to find the ghost, identify the ghost, and maybe we'll need the voodoo doll. So we got all 3 of the mementos on us right now, so we can't pick up any more. From this point on, if we find the mirror, the pendant, or the pocket watch, which was back this way, if we wanted to pick one of those up, we'd have to drop either the diary, the voodoo doll, or the incense. And again, you would use one of these little red D6 to indicate which item you're dropping and set it in the room, set to the value according to the item that you dropped. Okay, let's keep on going. So although you can't see it, there's a door right there. I can't wait to get that resolved. That was the only thing when I looked at the car, I was like, oh man, they're really dark on the bottom part of the car, but it's okay. I'm going to get it fixed. So we're going to go ahead and spend a flashlight. We're going to go down. We're just doing a big loop around the house. I got a big long hallway. It's a strange layout here. We've got this is the laundry room. It's got the little washing machine logo up in the top, or the dryer logo. And it's got some lockers, red lockers, which means we can hide in the lockers since it's a red icon. So instead of going in a big loop, you know what? We're going to loop back this way. We're going to loop back this way, and we're going to go to the right because we got the door on this right wall here. So we're going to enter. We're going to flip a resolution card, and we can't spend any focus because we're out of focus. We have to resolve this card. We're going to get, we found an energy bar though, so we're going to get +1 focus. So that's good. Okay, we get a little bit of our focus back. There's going to be a random event. Okay, shuffle these up, flip them around, and ooh, nice. We found the safe. You open the safe to reveal a stash of useful items. It's a welcome sight in this eerie place. Increase your flashlight, focus, and sanity by 1. Let's go, dude. So we get 1 flashlight, 1 focus, 1 sanity. Let's go. Cool. We found good stuff. Amazing. Okay. Then we got to go -2 on the hunt timer. Bloop. There we go. All right. There's nothing else to do in the room, so we're going to continue on. I'm going to spin my flashlight. We're just barely keeping our flashlight going here. Okay, we found the bathroom. It's got the tub, and it's got the mirror memento icon on it. It's got 1 doorway on this north wall. I'm going to face it this way, and we're going to go in. We're going to flip a resolution card. What do we got? We could spend 2 to redraw, but I'm not going to. I want the meds. So we're going to get +1 meds, so we get +1 sanity. There could be a random hunt, but we're at full sanity, so we don't have to roll for it. And -2 on the hunt timer, so we go from 4 down to 2. Now, if I want to, I could pick up the mirror. And you know what? I'm going to, for the sake of the tutorial. I've explained it several times, but we're going to do it anyway so you guys can actually see. I want to pick up the mirror. I'm going to drop the diary. So we're going to drop the diary, and we're going to put this cube on the mirror instead. And it's got a 1 next to the diary, so I'm going to place this die here with the 1 in that room to show that I've dropped the diary in that room. If I ever want to come pick it up again, I can come back here to pick it up. Okay, cool. Now we're going to go through the door and continue into this room. My flashlight is completely out of juice, guys. It's out of batteries, so now I'm moving in the dark, kind of like in Crypt Crawler. In Crypt Crawler, you have to spend fear, increase your fear when you move through the dark. And in Home, you have to decrease your sanity. So we're going to go down to 7 to move into this room as we're moving through the dark. But we'll flick the light switch to turn the light on in the room. And there is 1 door on this bottom wall here. This is the second bedroom. There's a place to hide, which is kind of unfortunate. We found all 4 of the rooms that you can hide in. They're all kind of clumped together. It's really preferable to have them kind of spread out so that no matter where you are in the house, you got a hiding spot you can run to real quick. So this southern part of the house is going to be pretty dangerous. Also, it's got the notebook equipment icon. So as you can see here, it's got the same icon as the notebook, but we don't have that equipment on us. We would have to go back to the van to pick it up and then come back to this room. So I think I'm going to face this way. We're just snaking around the house. This is a really weird layout. I'm not finding many of the rooms that have the double exits or 2 doors in them. So we're going to move into here. We're going to draw a resolution card. We're going to go with it, man. There's an item in the room. We're going to get an item. And we got the candle. It says, place this card in the room. When the ghost, it's so small. When the ghost move icon is I'm trying to read it from like really far away. When the ghost move icon is the target crosshair icon, the ghost moves toward the candle. And when the ghost moves into the room, discard the candle. So essentially we can set the candle in the room, and anytime the ghost moves during a hunt, if it draws one of these crosshair target icons, instead of moving toward us, it'll move toward the candle. It'll be drawn toward the candle. And then when it enters the room with the candle, it snuffs it out and you discard the candle over here to the discard. So we're going to keep this over here with our motion sensor, which we need to use, by the way. And then next up, there could be a random hunt. So remember, if we roll higher than our sanity, the ghost will spawn. Okay, we rolled a 1. We're good. He does not spawn. And -2 on the hunt timer. Hunt timer goes down to 0. The ghost spawns. Now, this is unfortunate because I wanted to place the motion sensor or the candle, but you cannot place items during a hunt, and you can only use them once you're finished resolving the resolution card. So unfortunately, the ghost spawns. It's ready to hunt. Now, remember, the player always gets to move first. So I could stay in this bedroom and hide under the bed, but I want to get further away from the ghost, so I'm actually going to run this way into the bathroom. Now the ghost is going to move, so we need to shuffle up the resolution deck. Okay, and let's see where the ghost moves. This part's so fun. Okay, he's going to move 1 to the left, so we're going to increase the hunt timer by 1. He's going to move 1 to the left. I'm going to run over here into the laundry room, and we're going to hide in the lockers in the laundry room. Okay, the ghost is going to move again. He's going to move down 2, so we'll increase the hunt timer by 2, and he'll go 1, 2. Okay, I'm going to stay hidden in the lockers. The ghost is going to move. Okay, he's going to move 2 toward us. Yikes. So remember, let's move this up by 2. It's always going to prioritize getting in the same column as you. So he's going to go 1, 2 to try to get over here into this column. I'm debating running up. Ooh, or should I just stay where I am? If I run up and he moves up like 2, I guess I could always run back down. But if I move up and he gets a target 2, he's going to go 1, 2. And then I'm going to have to run to the right. And if he gets another target 2, he's going to go 1, 2 and catch me. Oh, man. I think I'm going to stay where I am. I don't want to risk it. I'm going to stay where I am. See what the ghost does. Okay, he goes 2 to the left. Now, as I mentioned earlier, if it can't move anymore, it'll just go as far over as it can, or it'll just stay in the room that it's in if it can't move. So it's going to go 1, but you're still going to increase the hunt timer by the value shown on the ghost movement. So this is still going to go up by 2. And I think I'm just going to stay where I am, because if I run up this way and he gets a target 2 movement icon, he's going to move up 2 and catch me. So I'm going to stay where I'm at. It's so tense. Oh my God, it's a target 2. He would have caught me. Okay, so this is going to increase to 8. So at the end of this ghost movement, the hunt is going to end. But remember, he moves toward you when you draw the 2. I wish I could have got to put the candle down. So he moves into the room with us, guys. We got to draw a resolution card. Okay, nice. We need 2 or better. We got a 6. Okay, cool. So we stay hidden in the lockers. The ghost does not find us. And the hunt timer is at 8 at the end of that round. So the hunt ends. So we've set the ghost spawn cube there and move him over this way. Whew. Okay, that was a nail biter. All right. So now what we're going to do is we are going to keep on moving. So we're going to move into this room here, and we're going to draw a resolution card. Now, it's worth noting too, if you move into a room that you've already explored, you still draw resolution cards. Also, you have the option to wait and search the room, in which case you would draw another resolution card. Now, there are pros and cons to this. The pros are you could kind of keep searching the room to try to farm it for items if you want to. The cons are you're also going to have to deal with potentially spawning random hunts. You're going to be dealing with events, and most of them are pretty gnarly, that are going to lower your stats. Some of them are good. We've run into a couple good ones, but most of them are bad. We've been kind of lucky with that so far this run. And then last but not least, and probably the worst of all, is that you're still going to be decreasing the hunt timer. And probably worst of all, actually, is you're not progressing through the game. You're not moving through the house and gathering evidence. You're just staying stagnant. So sometimes it's good to do if you need to, gather some material, if you need to gather some equipment, like, you know, maybe you want to search for some more batteries so you're not wandering through the dark. But most of the time you're going to want to be on the move, but that is an option. But yeah, so whether you move into an explored room, an unexplored room, a face down one, or if you wait and search the room, you'll always flip a resolution card. So we're moving into the bathroom. Even though we've already been there, you're going to flip a resolution card. I think I'm going to do this one. We're going to find an energy bar and get +1 to our focus. There's no event, no random hunt. I like that. And -1 on the hunt timer. Not too bad. I can deal with that. All right. We're going to move back this way. Also, when moving into rooms that you've already explored, that you flip the light switch in and turn the light on by flipping the card over, that's why the rooms stay lit up. You do not have to spend flashlight to move into those rooms. We're going to move into here. I might have done that just a moment ago too, not paying attention, but yeah, if I did, ignore that. If you move into a room that you've already explored, you do not reduce your flashlight. Okay, so we moved into the room. We have to flip a resolution card. I'm going to do this one. We're going to get +1 to our flashlight because we found batteries. There's going to be a random event. I kind of hope it's something bad because I want you guys to see the other random events just for the sake of the tutorial. We got footsteps. No, dude, we're not playing that game. Give me something I haven't seen. There we go. The phone rings out of nowhere, its shrill tone shattering the silence. Your heart races as you stare at it, frozen. Decrease your sanity by 1. Yee. All right, that would be pretty frightening. You're in this haunted house, you're being chased by a ghost in the silence, and then this phone just blares ringing out of nowhere, its shrill tone piercing the silence. So we lose 1 sanity. It's one of the more benign of the negative outcomes that you can get. Okay, and then next up, we lose 1 on the hunt timer. Boop. Okay, cool. We're done with the resolution card. Let's move on. So there is a doorway here, so we can move over this way. We're going to spend a flashlight since this room is dark and it's unexplored. Flip it. Okay, there's only 1 door here. Now, or is there 2? Nope, there's 2. There's 1 down here. Can't wait to get that fixed. Oh my goodness. Okay, so there's a door here and a door here. Now, this is important. I mentioned this way at the beginning of the game, and now it's finally coming into play. I cannot orient this room so that a door on this room is facing into a wall on an adjacent room that's already been explored. So, like, I couldn't put it like this and face this door into that wall or face this door into that wall. And I believe there's a wall right there, right? Yeah. I couldn't do that. I would have to face the doorways either into pre-existing doors or into unexplored rooms. So since there is a door here, I'm going to connect this door to it, and then I'll face this door down this way since we can't face them into the walls of these 2 rooms. So once you start exploring the house a little bit, you're going to get into situations where your options might be somewhat limited. So the choices that you make when you explore are also going to factor in too. So we're going to set the card this way. We're going to move into the room, and we've got a door heading down and that way. All right, let's draw a resolution card. We've got a 3 to redraw. I'm not going to do it. So I'm going to get +1 to my focus with the energy bar. There's a random event. I love the events. Even though they can be bad most of the time, I just love the events. I love how thematic they are. Okay. Oh, man. Okay. A pale face appears in the darkness. Its blank eyes fixed on you. Decrease your sanity by 3, dudes. Oh, my goodness. See, that one's way gnarlier than the phone. We literally see the pale face of this apparition in the darkness with its eyes fixed on us, and we have to decrease our sanity by 3. So, bloop, we're down to 3 sanity. Remember, if you reach 0, you lose the game. If we were to run into another event and get this pale face event card again, we would lose the game. All right, and then -2 on the hunt timer, so we go down to 4. Okay, we're going to keep going here, guys. We're out of flashlight, so I've got to lose a sanity. We're going to go down here. Let's see what we've got. Okay, we've got the room with the pendant, and there's 1 door, and I'm going to face it this way. Again, we cannot orient this doorway into that wall or into that wall. We could turn it this way if we want and go back up into that room, but then we'd be creating a dead end for ourselves, and we don't want that. So I'm going to orient it this way so we could snake back around through here. Also, it doesn't always end up in a snaking pattern like this. Sometimes it does, like in this scenario, but most of the time you'll get little areas of the house where, you know, you can kind of like loop around and stuff. It'll be different every time you play. This is just how this one happened to play out and how I happened to orient the rooms. So yeah. Okay, so we're going to flip a resolution card. See what we get. There's an item in the room. I got to do it, guys. I got to do it. Plus the video is super long. We're going to go ahead and try to just wrap this one up here, dude. So I'm going to get an item. Okay, I found a dead battery. Reduce your flashlight by 1 and discard this card. I forgot to use my 2 items over here too. They're small. They're small and out of sight. No, it's just because I'm trying to explain everything and stay in the moment, and I forgot I had those. But you know what? Just for fun, okay. So we found this. We would decrease our flashlight battery by 1, but our flashlight is already burned out. Let's just say, just for fun, that before we entered this room, that I put down my motion sensor in here, just for fun. We'll just see what happens. Okay, cool. The ghost might pass over it. We'll see. All right. So we picked up the item. There could be a random hunt. Now, this is where sanity being low really gets gnarly, because now, again, if you have to roll for a random hunt, if you roll higher than your sanity, which is 2 currently, a random hunt starts. So the odds are not in our favor now because our sanity is so low. We rolled a 3 that is higher than 2. It's higher than our current sanity. So a random hunt starts. So we put the ghost here where the little ghost white ghost spawn cube is. We'll remove the cube. Now we're in a hunt. The doors to the house close, they lock, and we're in hunt mode here, guys. So again, you're going to leave the tracker here. You're not going to reduce it down to 0. You're just going to leave it there when a random hunt starts. And of course, the player always gets to move first during a random hunt. Now this is tricky. This is very tricky. I have 2 options. I can either run to the left into this room where I know there's not going to be a hiding spot because we've already found all 4 of the hiding spots, or I can run back up through this doorway on this card into this room and try to get over here to the bedroom to hide under the bed and just hope that the ghost doesn't move toward me and block me off. That's my only option, guys. So we're going to move up into here, into the room that I put the motion sensor in. The ghost is going to move. Please move down or up. Up 2. There we go. So we're going to increase the hunt timer by 2. He's going to move up 2, or 1 in this case. He can't go up any further. And then I'm going to go here and hide under the bed. The ghost is going to move. He's going to move down 1. So we're going to go up 1 on the timer. He's going to move down 1. Then we're going to shuffle this up. And now what I'm going to do is, because I know that the maximum movement that the ghost can move is up to 2 rooms, I'm actually going to run back into this room. Because even if he draws a 2 to the right or a target 2, he's only going to be able to move 2, and he's not going to be able to catch me. So that plays into the hunts too. You can kind of strategize if you can if you know you can stay away from the ghost or not. So let's see what he gets. Okay, he moves up 2. So that's going to go all the way up to 8. He's going to go up, and that's it. The hunt timer has reached 8 at the end of his movement. That's the end of the hunt. So place the spawn cube there and place his meeple down this way, and we can continue on. Okay, we're going to move back into this room. I'm going to draw a card, and we can get +2 meds. I like the sound of that. So we get +2 sanity. No event or hunt, but we get -2 on the hunt timer. And there is a pendant in the room. I'm actually going to drop the voodoo doll, and I'm going to pick up the pendant. So we drop the voodoo doll, so that is 5. So we're going to put the 5 here. And the pendant says increase your sanity by 2. That is amazing. So we get 2 sanity. Went from 2 all the way back up to 6. That was really, really good. Between the meds and finding the pendant, we're good. Our peace of mind is being restored, guys. All right, so now we're going to move into this room. We're going to have to lose a sanity because our flashlight is dead. And we found, okay, here we go. Now we're finding rooms with 2 entrances here. I'm going to put this, I'm going to put it this way so that it goes into this unexplored room, and then this doorway connects here. Because remember, we can't face this doorway into the wall of an already explored room. So now we can go that way or down. We're going to move in, flip a resolution card, and we're going to do it. We're going to get +1 batteries to our flashlight. There's going to be a random event. Shuffle it up. And, okay, we got this one again. I want to get a different one. I want you guys to see some of the other ones. Let's see what else we can get. Oh, this sucks. The beam of your flashlight flickers. Its battery draining faster than expected. Decrease your flashlight by 2. Dang, those batteries we just found? Yeah, apparently they weren't, they didn't have much juice left in them. RIP. And then -1 on the hunt timer. Okay, I at least want to try to find one more room with evidence. So I want to try to find the video camera room real quick so I can show you how that works, and then we'll wrap it up. We're going to go over this way. So I'm going to have to lose a sanity since our flashlight is burned out. Okay, we found the thermometer room. Now that's another piece of evidence. another piece of equipment that you can use is the thermometer, but we don't have that on us. We would have to go back to the van. It's also something I didn't do this game that I normally would do, is head back to the van to get equipment. It just didn't happen this game. So what we're going to do here is place it this way. It's the only way we can place it because we can't face that door into that wall. We're going to draw a resolution card. And you know what? I'm just going to resolve it. We're going to get +2 to our focus because we found a pretty scrumptious energy bar, and there could be a random hunt. So we need to roll, or if we roll higher than our sanity, the hunt's going to start. And we rolled 8. That is higher than our sanity of 4. The ghost spawns, another random hunt begins. So as you can see, the further you progress through the game, and the lower your sanity drops throughout the game, the more frequent the hunts will become, and the more the tension ramps up. It's really cool. It happens really organically. It feels really, really good. Okay, the player gets to move first. We need to go hide, dudes. Either that or just stay the heck away from them. No, you know, we got to run back this way. We got to run back that way. Let's see where the ghost goes. Target 2. He's going to move 2 toward us, so we need to increase the hunt timer by 2. He's going to prioritize getting in the same column, so 1, 2. And then I know if I move back this way, he's not going to be able to catch me. So I'm going to go here. He's going to move, and he's going to move down 2. 1, 2. And at the end of his movement, the hunt timer is at 8, so that is the end of the hunt. Very close, though. He's right on our tail, dude. We juked him by running back and forth. That was pretty good. Okay. Now we're... Oh, it's also worth mentioning, too, when the random hunt triggers, you ignore the rest of the card. You're not going to resolve the rest of the icons on the card. If the random hunt triggers, that's it. It's like, hit the brakes. You're in a hunt. That's it. All right. We're going to lose a sanity here as we move over into this dark room in the dark. Nice. Okay. We found the room that's got the video camera icon in the top center. That means that we can use the video camera in this room. So we're going to flip this this way. You know, actually, I'm going to leave it like this, and we're going to create a doorway out that way so we can go back to the van. Okay, we're going to head into the room. We're going to flip. We're going to resolve this. We're going to get +1 batteries to our flashlight. There's going to be an event. Hopefully it's not the scary pale face guy. Ooh, okay. It's the phone again. The phone rings out of nowhere. Its shrill tone shattering the silence. Your heart races as you stare at it, frozen. Decrease your sanity by 1. Okay, that could have been worse. If we would have drew the pale face creepy guy ghost, we would have lost because we would have got -3 sanity and went down to 0. Okay, we go down to 2, and then we lose 1 on the hunt timer. And now that we're done resolving the resolution card, now we can interact with our equipment. So the video camera says, captures footage of paranormal activity. Place the black cube in the room. Return to the van to check the computer monitors for evidence. Flip this card over to resolve the evidence check. So we're going to use this little black cube right here. This represents the video camera. Unfortunately, I searched high and low on the Game Crafter's website for a little camera piece, and they didn't have one, unfortunately. It would have been cool to have not only the little notebook, but also the camera, because these are the 2 pieces of equipment that you have to leave in a room in order to gain evidence with them. But it's okay. This little black cube works well enough. So just pretend like this is your little camera, and you leave that in the room. And then, so it says place the black cube in the room. So that's the camera. And then you have to return to the van to check the computer monitors in the van to get evidence. So it's like we're setting up the camera in the room, and then we need to go back to our van to check the feed while we're not in the house to see if we catch any paranormal activity. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this side door that we've created here to go back to the van. So again, since we're not going to the van straight from the front door, we have to use a flashlight, and we're going to go out the house and travel around the outside of the house back to our van. So now we can do a couple things. So now that we're in the van, we can check the video camera for evidence. So flip this card over to reveal the evidence check. So what we're going to do is flip this card over. And now that we're checking for evidence, we're going to have to flip a resolution card, and we're going to get to add this number to our evidence check. I think we can do better than that. So I'm going to spend the 1 focus listed on the card to redraw. We got a 2. We could definitely do better than that. I'm going to spend another 1 focus. A 3. I really want to do better than that. I'm going to spend the 2 focus. Give me something good. A 2. Dang it, dudes. And we're stuck with this because it costs 3 and I don't have enough. See, that's just how it goes sometimes. There's 4s, 5s, and 6s in here. Let's see, where are they? There's the 4, there's the 6. Maybe I should have checked before I did it. There's the 5. Yeah, I probably should have checked. Rip. Okay. It is what it is. It's okay. So we're going to get 2 added to our evidence check for the video camera. Then we're going to roll. And we rolled a 5. Okay, so we get 5 plus 2 is 7. So again, it's the 5 from the die roll plus the 2 from this die icon is 7. And then we consult the back of the video camera equipment here. If we roll a 7 to an 8, it's success. It says the video camera captures a faint shadow moving in the corner of the frame, but it's unclear if it's just a trick of the light. +1 evidence. So as you can see, there's like different tiers of evidence that you can get. It's really, really cool. Had we rolled a 9 through 10, it would be success. And it says the video camera clearly records an object being pushed off a shelf and falling to the floor, +2 evidence. Or if we get 11 through 12, it would be a success. And the video feed distorts as the lights in the room flicker and an apparition appears moving across the room before vanishing into thin air, +3 evidence. So as you can see, there's like different tiers of evidence. So the one that we got was a little bit lower. It says that, the camera captures a faint shadow in the corner, but it's hard to tell if it was actually something or just a trick of the light. But we did get a little bit of something, so we get +1 evidence. So we would increase our evidence tracker down here by 1. And now that we successfully gained evidence with this card, we would set it here in the check mark equipment section here. Cool. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to fast forward a little bit. Oh, also, now that I'm at the van, I could gather more equipment. So I could say, okay, well, I found the room that's got the notebook in it, so I want to bring the notebook with me. I also found the room with the thermometer, so I'm going to bring the thermometer with me and go check those rooms. And the EMF detector, I know that it's got to be in one of these 2 rooms down here. And just for the sake of the tutorial, there it is right there. And the other room down here is just a regular little hallway room. Cool. All right. It's also worth mentioning too that the room with the EMF detector has no doors on any of the walls. So there's only one way in. That's from the room that connects to it. And it acts as a dead end. Okay. So now we've gotten to this point. You guys have seen most of the game, and I'm just going to briefly explain how the last part of the game would work. So let's say we continued to play. Let's say that we went to the thermometer room and we happened to be successful. And let's just say that we rolled 10. Well, we added our die value here to our dice roll and we managed to get 10, let's say. So what we would do is we would get +2 evidence. So this would go from 1 up to 3. We would put this in the check mark box here. And then let's say we did the same thing with the notebook. Cool thing about the notebook too is that you have to go to the room with the notebook. It says place the white D6 in the room set to 6. So what you would do is, let's say that we went to this room. You'd place this white D6 here set to 6 in the room. You'd also place the notebook in the room to show that you're leaving the notebook in the room. And then it says, when the hunt timer decreases, you reduce the white D6 by the same amount. So every time you're resolving resolution cards, like say, let's say we resolved this one and it gave us -3. So we'd have to reduce the hunt timer by 3. Every time you reduce the hunt timer, you reduce the white notebook die by the same amount. So this would go down to 3. When the die reaches 0, you may check the notebook. Flip this card over to resolve the evidence check. So essentially, once enough time has passed by the hunt timer reducing, and this reaches 0 and you would remove the die, only the little notebook would remain. You'd be able to make your way back to the room. And this sort of emulates like setting down the ghostwriting book and then leaving and waiting for the ghost to interact with it and write in it, and then coming back to check to see if it interacted with the book. And of course you can get, you can either fail, the notebook has been ripped to shreds, or you have 3 different levels of success. And let's just say that we got the first one. Let's say we rolled an 8. It says faint markings are scattered on the pages of the open notebook, +1 evidence. So we get +1 evidence. And then at this point, we would put this in the check pile. And now we've collected 3 pieces of evidence. We've successfully gotten 3 pieces of evidence. We got the video camera, the thermometer, and the notebook. And we've got a total of 4 evidence points down here. So now that we've got our 3 pieces of equipment that we have found evidence with, now we're going to lift the tin. We're going to reveal the ghost card underneath. And now we need to find on the front or back of the card the ghost that requires the video camera, thermometer, and notebook in order to identify it. So let's go ahead and flip. And let's see. Thermometer, notebook, and video camera. Here, right here. Okay, so we got the notebook, the video camera, and the thermometer. That is a shade. So we've identified the ghost type. We know that the type of ghost that's haunting the house, that's been chasing us around the house, is a shade. And the three little icons next to that show that we need the incense, the diary, and the voodoo doll. And wouldn't you know it, we dropped the diary and the voodoo doll. So this is exactly why you use these little dice so that you can go back to those rooms so that you could pick up those items again. So in this case, we would say, okay, we know that we need to go get the diary and the voodoo doll again. So, we would play through the game. We would move through the house. I'm skipping through all of that to, cut to the chase. And let's say, we went back to this room. There's a 5 here. We know that that's the voodoo doll. So we say, okay, we're going to drop the mirror, which is 2. So we change this to a 2. So we've dropped the mirror. At this point, it won't really matter too much because you're not going to need it, but you can do that if you want to. Then let's say, we make our way back over here to the 1 where the diary is. So we'll drop the pendant, which is a 3. We'll pick up the diary. There we go. So now we've got the diary, the voodoo doll, and the incense. And again, every ghost is going to require the incense and then 2 of the other 5 unique mementos. And then the shade is haunting the kids' room. It's got the little bunk bed icon. So that means that it's haunting the kids' room. And that is this room here. So then the third and final phase of the game, we would have to make our way over to that room that the ghost is haunting. And then once we enter the room, we would flip over a resolution card. We would resolve the resolution card as normal. And then we can perform the cleansing ritual, assuming that a hunt hasn't started. So what you would do is you would take the D8, and it's basically the opposite of sanity. So when you roll for random hunts, you're trying, if you roll higher than your sanity, it triggers a random hunt. If you are doing the cleansing ritual to cleanse the house of the ghost, you want to roll lower than your current evidence meter, like your current evidence level, I guess you could call it, however many evidence points you have. So very eloquently said, guys. So it's been a long video. Cut me some slack. I've been talking for an hour and 45 minutes straight. So you basically want to roll lower than wherever your evidence tracker is. So in this case, we're on 4. So we want to roll lower than 4. We need to roll 3 or lower. So we would roll. In this case, we rolled a 5. So the cleansing ritual would fail. So in that case, we would shuffle up the deck again since we've exhausted it here. And then we can decide to remain in the room. If we want to wait in the room, we would flip another resolution card. We would resolve it. If a hunt doesn't start or if our fear doesn't reach 0, then we can try the ritual again. So you'd roll again. We rolled an 8. Let's just say that we didn't roll that. Okay, cool. We rolled a 3. And in this case, we rolled lower than our evidence meter here. That means that the cleansing ritual is successful and we have exorcised the house of the demon. What is that? Reminds me of Ace Ventura when he's quoting Poltergeist, I think. I have exorcised the demons. So that's basically what you're trying to do in the game, guys. You're trying to identify the ghost by collecting the evidence with your equipment. Then you gather the appropriate mementos that are linked to that particular ghost. It's like, personal special items that were linked to that ghost. So you have to use those along with the incense to smudge the room and roll lower than your evidence meter here in order to successfully perform the cleansing ritual. And then you have won the game. And of course, each time you fail, you can keep trying over and over again, but you have to flip and resolve resolution cards every time. And you're risking your sanity decreasing to 0. And of course, you're risking the ghost spawning and hunting you and chasing you around the house and potentially catching you. So there it is, guys. This was a doozy, dudes. This was a doozy. Future playthroughs of the game will absolutely not be as long as this video, but I wanted to show off the game. I wanted to chat about it a little bit, and then, of course, do the full-blown tutorial and teach you guys how to play the game. I do apologize that the video is so long, but I really wanted, you guys know me. I like to get into the nitty-gritty and really explain things, and yeah, I really wanted to get into all the details of the game. There might be some little edge case scenarios here or there that maybe didn't come up, but I'm sure we'll get into that in future playthroughs of the game. And get ready, guys. Buckle up. I'm about to be doing a lot of playthroughs of Home, so I hope you're prepared. Yeah, man, I'm so excited about this. I don't want to go on too much longer, but I'm so proud of the game. I'm so happy with the way it came out. I absolutely love it. I love how clean it looks. It's such a different style than Crypt Crawler. I love these little icons. They're very, very clean. I love the red, white, and black basic color scheme, and it fits the creepy vibe that I've got going on. Very, very cool stuff. So there it is, dudes. If you're interested in home, be sure to tune in more to the channel because I'll have more playthroughs coming. And once I make the necessary changes, like adding these little red dye icons to the mat, also lightening up the room so that you can see the bottom walls of the room a little bit better, just those little things like that. The game is ready to go. Other than that, everything is done and ready to go. It's fully playable. It's all right here. Just need to make a couple little cosmetic changes in those areas. And then, yeah, I can launch the crowd sale. So be on the lookout for that, man. There's going to be a crowd sale for Home, the Mint Tin game, and for the playmat here in the very, very near future. So be on the lookout for that. And guys, if you enjoyed this video and you're looking forward to more home playthroughs, be sure to hit the thumbs up like button, hit the red subscribe button, and click the bell so you can never miss an upload. And guys, thank you so much for all of your support lately. It's been absolutely amazing. I love you guys to death. And I'm just so happy and proud and excited that I've got another Mint Tin game under my belt, and you guys are going to get to enjoy it soon enough in the very near future here. So thank you guys so much for sticking around, and plenty more to come. So yeah, until next time, guys, have a good one. I'll see all you guys in the next video.